Hey guys, welcome back to the lab. We are here for another episode of Sundaze with the Clink Room. Today we're mixing it up a little bit. My good friend Aaron is in the lab with us today to go through this episode. Aaron, how you doing?
I'm great. How about yourself?
I can't complain. Yeah. We get to sit around and talk about hats. And, you know, we're living the life. So
yes, indeed.
For those who don't know, you are a longtime collector of hats. I'm trying to mix it up a little bit, so it's not that we're running out of artists. We still got a good number of artists to interview and to kind of profile, but I thought it'd be cool to get some well-known collectors or even some collectors that have been around and seen a lot of stuff to come on and basically do the same thing that we do with the artists. So like review the hats and talk about the shock drops and all that stuff. So
that's great.
That brings us to you.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate you thinking of me. You know, I mean, like you said, I've been doing this for a little bit, and Clink Room is truly a passion for me. I love Clink Room hats. I love the artistry behind it and the storytelling behind it, and it just it's truly become like my favorite style of hat to collect and to wear. Frankly, I got pretty bored with MLB hats, and for me, they just kind of ran its course, and Clink is different every time I buy one, even with the Fresh Colorways, it's different for me every time, and it's the experience every time. I get that excitement back now when I get a box, to open and, to see how did that embroidery that I thought was going to look really cool, how did it really turn out? How did these colors translate into real fabric and thread, So it's really, it's a fun experience, and I'm neck deep in Clink Room.
You're one of those collectors. So let's kind of break it down. So you're Bay Area guy, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Diehard, unfortunately, Oakland A's fan.
Yeah, it's a long-suffering A's fan. Yep. Indeed.
You kind of got into it, hat collecting, kind of pandemic-ish era.
I think maybe about I want to say like 2018. Is when the walls started to break open a little bit for me. And where I, because before I was just a steady, just an A's, A's hats, collector, right. And then I one time talking to you, one of the stories that I told was just how the dam really broke for me was just getting a Montreal Expos hat from Hat Club. That was a different colorway from regular team colors, and it changed my whole view, on hats. And I thought, oh wow, this is different. This is something cool. And so then I talked myself into, okay, well, I can buy Ace hats and I can buy Expos hats, because Expos, they're not around anymore. I can, it's cool if I get that, and then of course, the fashion colors started to creep up, and once the fashion colors took hold, then I just kind of blew my collection out and just went, all, just sports teams all over the place, football, Major League Baseball, but the fashion colors really got me. And Clink Room 1.0 was around at the time that I first started. I just missed it. I just totally overlooked it, and then after it was gone, after it was over, while I was collecting fashion hats and starting to collect hats from the capologists, from some of your early stuff, you really turned me on to customs, of this style, of this type. And so again, I had another eye-opening experience of, wow, this is really different. This could be really cool. And again, it was about the artistry that caught my eye, because every custom that I was buying, it wasn't a different color of my same A's hat or a different color of the Mariners or Rangers or whatever other hats I was getting. it was a completely different logo and a completely different color every time, you know,
Yeah.
and so then once Clink 2.0 announced that they were coming back, I was like, okay, I'm not missing this at all. I mean, I
Yeah.
was on the train right from the start, you know, and I was heavy. I was heavy right from the start. You know, I mean, I think the first round at a minimum, I bought four. In the first round, I can't remember how big the first round was, but I know I bought like four at a time for every, like I bought them in chunks of four. And I mean, and it's been like that ever since. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
that's literally been my pace, you know, ever since. So
Fire.
it's crazy.
I
It's crazy.
I attribute like Clink 2.0 a lot, kind of with like my hat, I guess, media coverage.
Okay.
They kind of go together ish. I think Casey, shout out to Casey, one of the most
Yeah.
accessible owners.
Yes.
When Pierre and I started Views from the Vault, he's probably like episode 10, maybe
Right.
5,
Right.
10. I don't
Yeah.
even remember, but like
Yeah.
early.
Yeah.
And they're like, there's no way he's gonna do the show.
Yeah.
And we asked
Right.
him right away. Yeah,
Mhm.
sure. I'm like, whoa, okay.
And I don't remember how many times if it had, I know I got to guest on one of the Views from the Vaults when
Mhm.
Casey was on,
Yeah.
and it was and being able to talk to him, because and I was real, I had to really work hard not to fanboy
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
when
I
I
still
was,
have
you
to work
know,
hard when I'm
right.
talking to not the
I
fanboy.
had to
Yeah.
really work hard not to do that. But we just started talking, and you know, and I just told him, you know, I said, hey, you know, from a consumer standpoint, non-artist, just a pure collector, I just love what the Clink Room is doing. And he was just so, he was so genuinely happy, you know, to hear
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
And it just generated a conversation. And then from that point on, I made contact with him on the side, and he remembered me, and we just kept talking. And like you said, super accessible, but his enthusiasm for what Clink Room is doing is what fuels my enthusiasm for
Yeah,
Clink Room, you know,
for
because
sure.
he's just as excited about it as I am, you know.
Yeah.
I think
For,
it's really cool.
for the people that like, and don't get me wrong, you're a customer, you pay, you have a
Hmm.
right to however you feel. I'm not trying to take that away from anybody.
Right.
But Casey, from what I've seen, he like moves so quick compared to a
Yeah.
lot of other companies.
Hmm.
Something's
I
wrong,
agree.
something's not right. He'll
Yeah.
pivot real fast
Yeah.
and try to right
Right.
it. So a
Right.
lot of people like, they get on him for not him personally, but like, stuff that
Yeah.
the Clink Room does or doesn't do or
Hmm.
whatever. Like they fix that real quick. Like for a couple weeks there was the tissue paper gate, when
Yeah.
when the tissue papers was
Uh-huh.
getting
Yep. Right.
folded,
Crumpled up in the
crumpled
box.
up,
Yeah.
or
Uh-huh.
missing
Yep.
stickers, too much
Right.
stickers, too little stickers.
Right.
Like
Right.
they're
Right.
fast, man. Like
Yeah. Right.
for most companies,
Yeah.
you're not gonna go to me, right or wrong and pivot
Right.
that quickly to me. So I
Yeah,
don't know
I agree.
whatever
No,
that's
I
like.
agree. Well, I mean, there's not a lot of companies around that are going to give you the time of day, like,
Yeah.
you know, like the Clink Room does, you know, and Casey gets involved, you know. I mean, he really does, you know. So that's one of the things that I appreciate about what he does and about him and just how he handles business. And you know, I mean, like I said, you know, his enthusiasm for what he's doing is what generates mine. And you know,
Mhm.
aside from the hats themselves, but Casey's a big part of that enthusiasm, you know, and I just, you know, I think that the big difference, especially for you and I, is that we were there, you know, right at the beginning of 2.0, and we went through that whole COVID shutdown period, you know, when
Yeah.
nothing was being made, and there's big gaps in waiting, you know, and and it was grueling to say the least.
Oh
But
man.
I was just so excited to see what these end products were going to look like that I didn't care, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
by the time I got to 6 months, I was like, whatever. I mean, I'm in. You know,
Yeah.
I'm
First
good.
6 months is hard because you don't have
Yeah,
nothing. But
yeah,
after month
yeah,
7,
yeah,
you're getting
yeah.
hats at
Hmm.
month 8.
Yeah, yeah.
You're just getting
And
do you
you
go ahead.
know, and of course, you know, for me, that first big shipment that came through. I mean, I got a huge box that had that, the tubes that they come in,
Yeah.
essentially the boxes. My first shipment was a big box with 6 of those tubes in there. It was a ton of hats, dude. I was like, like I remember some of my friends looking at them, they're like, dude, how many hats did you buy? And I said, dude, I could open a small shop right now. This could be my stock. This could be my stock right
That's
now,
funny.
but yeah, so that in itself, again, I made it through the wait, and it was exciting all over again just to get all those hats and see what Clink Room really was doing.
Yeah.
And it just fueled it even more. So, I'm in, dude.
Yeah.
I'm in this for good. I love Clink Room.
It's so interesting too now because it's like we're so used to that model, and now that there's this like fresh colorway model, what's it called? The
dead stock,
dead stock drop, and
Yep.
then shock drop,
and the shock drops. Yep.
It's like they're like however you want to consume it, you can
Right.
consume it. Whether you don't want to wait, you want to see how it comes out, or you can save a bit in pre-order. So it's cool that you get options now.
Yes.
Like I feel old when you say it's like, oh yeah, back in my day, you had to wait for the pre-order or whatever, right? And that's only.
But it's true, yeah. But I get it. I totally understand what you mean. I mean, and the same thing goes for because I hear a common complaint that I hear now is that, hey, I thought the Clink Room was same as lame and so on and so forth, but now you can get the same hat 6 different times, 6 different colorways, and I'm like, okay, look, yeah, I get it, that it was cool that the same is lame, but truthfully, it's still different. I mean, the fresh colorways are different. It changes a hat. It really does. To get it in a different color. And the thing I think that is coolest about it, that's helped me in a lot of ways, is that I can't buy every hat. So it's there's lots of designs that I've slept on. That I've passed on, and the fresh colorways have given me an opportunity to get some of those designs that are long beyond dead stock drop. They're only available in a fresh colorway, but it's enabled me to get some of those designs that I never got before, that I'm thrilled now to have, as a result. So
you make a great point. Like there's times where and I'm cheap too, so I'll wait to get the free shipping. So I'll have to try to buy the 3 hats or the 2 hats or whatever it is.
Right.
But there's times where there's only been one, and I'm like, that plus shipping is not really.
Yeah.
And then,
especially for you, it's a little more for you, right?
Well, I
you've got to. Yeah, I got you.
But still, you know what I mean, though. Like, there's
I
times where it's like, okay, well, I need to add a 4th one. I don't really want to, but I'd rather just add a 4th one.
Yeah,
instead of paying the shipping,
like you said. Yeah.
But then there's other times where it's like, I can't do it, and then you end up, sleeping, or you forget. Sundays, some crazy happens, and you forget to order on Sunday night.
Yes, exactly.
I've definitely done that. I'm like, oh,
yeah. I've only done that a couple of times where I like fully intended to order hats and I missed the deadline. But fortunately, because it's what I do, I just ask sometimes. I mean, you never know. You got the Monday nothing to lose. Yeah,
I've done the Monday.
Absolutely.
I've got the Monday invoice.
Yes,
like, I forgot.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah.
Here. Pay
and the worst they can say is no. So you've got nothing to lose by asking. So I've done that a couple of times and been able to get, back into that batch that I missed, so it's worked out.
Do you remember your first Clink Room pre-order landing? Remember which hat it was or which hat?
It was Ruby Throats.
Okay.
Fresh Sidekicks. Pencil Kong.
All right.
That's also Ink Park.
Yeah.
Let's see what else is in that batch. I can't remember I can't remember what else was in that batch, but around that same time was like Red Wing Blackbirds. That came in that. But those were the 4 that that stand out in my brain that I know for sure came in that first batch.
I don't think anyone knew what we were signing up for. Like,
no,
it's like, hey, they're back. They're doing pre-orders. Like, okay, you're going another week. Okay, you're going another week. Okay, like who knows how long it's gonna last for?
Exactly. Yeah, and so so stuff like Ruby Throats and Pencil Kong really just kind of blew me away a little bit. When I got it, because I've never seen anything like it. I really hadn't. I'd never seen anything like it. with the level of detail and the embroidery, the embroidery quality. I've truly never seen anything like it. And I rarely get a lot of comments about the hats that I wear, but I remember wearing ruby throats one time, and I went into a sports hat shop, and I was just looking at the wall, and the guy behind the counter was just staring at my hat. I mean, just staring, like just boring holes into it. And I looked at him, and he's like, "What is that hat?" And I said, "It's from the Clink Room," you know. And he's like, "I've never seen anything like it."
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. You've truly never seen anything like it. And I didn't get a real true appreciation for the level of embroidery that was going on until Sidekicks came out, which was the rhino with the bird on top.
Yep.
That embroidery, just like I was just blown away.
There's levels of raise.
Overuse that term. Yes.
Yeah.
The detail and the physique that the embroidery gave that rhino was incredible.
The muscle structure. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. The definition was just crazy. I didn't realize that was something that could be done so intricately, with embroidery. And
I remember having a conversation with Pierre about that hat. I'm like, there's no way that little stupid bird is going to embroider. And then they turned around and they made an X-ray version of it. And this little stupid bird was freaking X-rayed, man.
Yeah.
Full skeleton.
Yeah. Right.
I was like, all right, what the hell do I know now?
Yeah.
That
exactly.
hat, so some of those early runs were probably very close to minimum too.
Yeah. Right. I wouldn't be surprised at all. I mean, I even tried to. I had talked to Casey about, we were talking about some stuff earlier, and I tried to talk him into PencilCon. And he's like, dude, that didn't sell enough in the beginning. Nobody's going to care about that hat. He's all, you guys, you collectors, you think those are great hats. He's all, not everybody shares that view. And I'm like,
it's different though, man. You never know, because back then, I remember when he first announced Clink's coming back. I think he had 4,000 followers.
Right.
On the Instagram. Yeah. Now it's over 100,000 easily.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So,
yeah, man, it's crazy. So
what a time.
So I mean, in that time, Clink has really built that reputation, about what, Casey's like this digitizing wizard,
Oh yeah.
And it's crazy what he comes up with, to how he translates some of these designs into embroidery. It's to the point now where if I'm on the fence about something, I just say, just do it, because if there's no question that the embroidery is going to turn out, incredible. It truly is. It's just it's gonna work. I think I think the number of designs that you can really count that didn't work are pretty minimal. So
that's the one thing too. So have you ever seen anyone in the wild wearing Clink hat? I've yet.
Nope. Never. And that's another reason why I'm so bothered by people complaining about the Clink Room getting away from the same as lame idea, because you're not going to run into somebody else with your same hat. It's just not going to happen. I mean, people have to remember that some of these hats sell less than 100. Sometimes there's probably less than 50 in a run, right? I mean, isn't that possible?
Potentially, yeah.
Right. So the odds of you running into somebody with your same hat is so minimal, and even having a different colorway of it, again, you're not going to run into somebody with it. It just hasn't happened,
There's something about that though. Like for me, like as someone who just likes art, like an artist, a designer, a clinker, draws something. It's immaculate. It looks so good. And then like, okay, you pre-ordered it, you bought into it, cool. But then it's like, I don't want anyone else to have it. Like, what if you lost your hat, or
right?
What if you wear it out and it gets too dirty? I don't think you bought multiple ones, so it's like, come on, man, you got to let that go a little bit, and and the efficiency, like it's already in the system. They just got to recolor it. So now the people that missed it get a chance to buy it. The people that have it want, like me, I'm a freak. Like if I have it now, if they redo it, it's more likely I rebuy it, because I want to take like the group shot or whatever.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Right.
Right. And
Yeah.
then like
And
you
you
said, like sometimes shit happens. Like you didn't have like you didn't have the funds at the time, or maybe
right,
you're
right,
saving up for something, or maybe
right.
there was three other ones that you wanted, or
Hmm.
you
Exactly. You had
underestimated.
to, and you had to make choices, Yeah, I mean, because that happens to me a lot, I mean, because like I said, you can't always buy them all, and because I mean, that six hats a week is a lot to buy,
It's a
and
lot.
sometimes four of the six designs are all super fire, and sometimes you have to make a decision. Sometimes you have to make a call. Okay, well, what one can I live without? Well, frankly, I could live without all of them, but realistically, if I don't want to miss a design, I've got to make a choice, and
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
and it happens sometimes, and it's happened to me several times where I've made a choice and said, okay, I'm going to pass on that one, and it turned out to be awesome. you know, I think
Yeah.
something like, well, my best example for me was Vandals.
Vandals.
I
Yeah.
I I passed on it originally, and I know a
That's
lot of other people
that's
did.
the one that got away from most.
Yes, yeah,
Um
absolutely,
Another one
yeah,
that is, but I know we both have it, so we don't feel this
mm,
way, is fresh kicks. A
yes,
lot of
hmm,
people slept on that one.
yep, yep.
Um, yeah, there's so many
I agree.
sidekicks,
I, yep, right.
sidekicks.
Right, and a lot of people slept on red wing blackbirds, and
Yep.
that one was an amazing design to me. The intricacy in that was just impeccable, and so
Mhm.
I know that when it came, I know it's recently come out twice on Fresh Colorways, and I know it did pretty well, in both instances, that a lot of people were looking for it. So it just happens that way, There's just it's more often than not, the design is going to work out and it's going to look good, and so it's worth taking a chance.
Mhm.
That's been the way I've approached it,
Do you
without a doubt.
have a favorite clinker?
A favorite clinker?
Yeah.
I think that there's probably two that I gravitated more towards. I think that my top person for sure is 40. 40
Yeah.
swords is easily my top, and I've told him this before on several occasions, that one of the reasons that I like his design so much is because every time I see one of his characters on a hat that he's drawn, I always want to know more. I feel like in my head there's a story, about that particular character, and I always want to know more about this person or this thing, because there's just the way he does his designs are just something about that character
Yeah.
that
So
tells
much
you that there's more to
personality.
it than just yes,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So I'm always drawn to his stuff, immediately. And then Austin, entire world, he was a favorite for a long time, and I'll tell you, I pulled some of my favorites aside,
Oh
but
yeah, let's
I
see.
think,
Let's see.
dude, I think this one, it's a Yada Sagaru or something like that. I always struggle to pronounce that,
Hmm.
but this to me, and sorry if my light is so garish, but
I think it's because
this is,
it's a white hat. I think that's
yeah,
too
yeah. It's, well,
reflective.
it's a light gray, so it's kind of, the
Oh
color
yeah,
seems to be adjusting. But
yeah,
but this kind of stuff, when he was doing this is the kind of stuff that really got me.
yeah.
The
You
just
always
the
like
detail.
The Asian
Yes, the Asian stuff.
stories
Yeah,
and
100%,
themes and stuff. Yeah.
100%. But the thing that, and I hope that people have picked up on this, but where Casey's a master of digitizing and getting the embroidery right, is that he'll take just a what looks in the design to be just a plain circle, and give it some detail
Mhm.
that is immediately it's immediately visible to you when you see it, but you don't imagine that it's going to
Yeah.
look like that, but it just looks right. But Austin's designs really got me. I mean, really, just some of my favorite stuff. Him and 40, and Austin doesn't submit anymore, I don't think. So
Here and there, you'll see him
yeah.
around. So
Mhm.
hopefully he
I mean,
does more.
he's still in the chats and stuff, but
Yeah.
I don't see
Yeah.
him putting. He's pretty busy, I think, with his own design work.
With
Outside of
life.
outside
Yeah.
of yeah, exactly.
I don't think there's anyone like dedicated clinker.
Right.
I think they all do something else.
Sure. Sure.
So
Yep. Yeah.
um
How about you? How about you?
oh 40.
Yeah.
40 is
Right.
my favorite. It
Right.
just
Mhm.
uh yeah, he's and yeah. And like for me to learn that like a lot of his influence comes from spending time in Japan.
Yeah.
He lived there for 7 years, and like I was
Okay.
like, oh, okay, well that makes
Yeah.
sense now. So
Yep.
yeah, 40 right off rip,
Yeah.
Ephra,
Yeah,
Jason
Ephra for
V.
sure. Yeah, and you know, and I got turned on to Ephra when he was still doing design collective stuff for Hat Club
Yeah,
before they got rid of that. That's how I learned about Ephra, because again, like I was sleeping on Clink 1.0. I
yeah,
didn't see his stuff in 1.0 until after after the because I know some of those designs came back out. Like I think the base dealers came back out
mhm,
on Hat Club, and Bruisers, right? Wasn't Bruisers a 1.0?
yep, yep,
So
yeah. That was
so I
when we got
remember
to
seeing those.
recolor.
Yes.
We got to recolor that one. Jason
So,
V, obviously.
yep.
Um,
Yeah.
who else comes to mind?
But
It's
yeah,
just
I
like
mean,
now, like now that I get to do this show and get a reason to talk to them,
yeah.
like
Right.
there's no one really
Right.
I don't like. I
Right.
I think I've owned a hat at least from every one of the clinkers that has
hmm
come on the show.
Yep.
Uh, but there's so many. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, there's tons.
Jacobo,
Hmm
Aurelian,
Yep. Yep.
um, Bird, Aaron Bird is the word. Like
Yep.
uh,
Yep.
Austin, and I just feel bad if I'm not mentioning people. Like
Yeah. Yeah. But we can't.
COD,
We're not
like
gonna. We're not gonna mention all of them. I mean,
yeah,
but yeah. I mean, some of the more, I guess you could call them contemporary guys. Like you said, COD.
yeah,
And
Milos,
right. Exactly.
right, all solid.
So
And
there's
now even like the newer group out of
mhm,
that is like the
yeah.
Heathers and
Yes, right,
you
Heather and
know
Donovan, Creaturezoid, I mean,
yeah, yeah,
and
Seamus,
mhm,
Ryan Simmons.
right,
There's so many
right,
solid artists, man. And yeah, no
right.
disrespect if we don't
Yes,
mention
exactly.
you.
We're not trying to omit anybody at all.
Yeah,
Not by any
yeah,
means.
yeah.
So this is so just this line of conversation, this brings me to a thought, I mean, what do you and I think we see this conversation a lot outside, what do you think about how Clink started compared to where they are now?
Wow. Okay. So
I mean, we're kind of getting in that realm right
yeah.
now, so
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 it's like an ever evolving thing. And I think what is interesting is like content like this may not
mhm,
be like watched by the masses, but it's
sure.
consumed a lot by the designers. So
Yes, yes.
they are working to get better, which is
Yeah.
crazy about the whole thing to me.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I don't think, and in any interview I've done with them, like whenever it comes up like criticism and the community, none of them are like, yeah, I don't pay attention to what anyone says. They all
Mhm.
yeah, I
They
watch
do.
the show,
Yeah.
or I
Mhm.
always look to get better, or I take
Right.
feedback, or
Right.
I'm open to commissions, I'm open to
Mhm.
collabs. Like
Right.
that's what's crazy about kind of how fast it's moving. I don't
Yeah.
think it was, maybe the intention was there, but I don't think it was ever planned to be like that. And I think back to
Sure.
someone like Heather. I keep bringing
Mhm.
her up, but like she would release so often,
Yeah.
so often, and like
Right.
now you look at the stuff she's doing, you're like you wouldn't believe that it's the
Right.
same
Mhm.
person, and that is
Right.
the
Right.
epitome of I think what it means to be a clinker now. Just someone who's
Right.
just
Right.
honestly like trying to get better and trying to get better, and
Right.
like
And being able and
Yakobo.
making the adjustments. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
like I think of
Yep.
Yakobo early
Mhm.
on, like
Yep.
even someone like Raphael, like they would release Jake, even like just release,
Mhm.
and then
Right.
not all of them would make it, but a lot of them don't give up, and then they're solid artists now. So
Right. Right.
I think
Absolutely.
that is like at its core,
Mm.
it's just levels, and I'm sure like people think like, oh, so like this is not fair, that's not fair, but like man, that's life. So like, what are you gonna do with
Right.
it? Like,
Right.
is
I
that the
mean,
story you want to tell, or are you gonna like
right.
just keep going? So
Right, exactly. I mean, again, and I think you nailed it when you first started to answer that question. It's the evolution, because I really think that we've seen an evolution from when Click started to for 2.0 to where it is today. And like you point out, the collaboration aspect of it too, I think has really grown, and it's really different than it was early on, because early on, and it even took a while when it first started, because there was a period of time where the only person that I remember collaborating with regularity was Lane.
Lane,
And
yeah.
I mean, that dude was an idea machine, and he was just throwing ideas everywhere to every artist he could work with, and was very, very productive. And then it seems like, that evolved into, people realizing, oh, okay, well, if I have an idea, I can maybe work with an artist to make it come to life. And so it's definitely evolved over time to become a fairly regular thing, that we see. And I think that's a good evolution. I think
Hell
that's, that's definitely a good evolution for sure.
Hell yeah. I think I did one really early with Tony. With the Grim Reaper Kong,
right?
And then Bot Pirates, and then a couple other ones. The
right.
Grim Reaper,
and then Pierre did a couple.
He did a couple with John, and then we ended up forming our own company separately, so we didn't really stay in that space. But yeah, you're right. The first kind of like concept artist, quote unquote, that did it with like exclusive with Clink was probably Lane.
He was the most prolific early on, that I remember.
Yeah, I think if I never really like fully invested my time into Capologist, I may have stayed in a little bit longer in the pocket, but I ended up not. But that's fine. I mean, everything happens for a reason.
Sure.
But yeah, like now I think the collaborations have really accelerated. Like Creature doesn't get a lot. I don't know how much credit he gets or doesn't get, but I think he deserves a lot of credit. I'll put that on the record, because he says some crazy stuff. So he'll say some off the wall. He's got no filter, so sometimes it's a little like radioactive in terms of like. I mean, speak your truth. Don't change.
For sure.
Do not change. It's cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that can turn people off. So to his credit, he's got good intention. He just wants them to do better. And then for the most part, he'll turn around and work with them. And now he's probably getting better at drawing too. So he's going to be a beast within the play, because he's,
without a doubt. I mean,
he's a witty dude.
That's evolution within the evolution, of the Clink Room, honestly, and it's really cool to see, and I'm glad that the Clink Room has evolved in this manner, and I think that the other evolution that we've seen in the Clink Room from where it started in 2.0 to where it is today is again, like we talked about earlier, the fresh colorways. The dead stock drops have a lot of momentum, because there's a lot of people that are just joining Clink, surprisingly, that are just joining Clink this year, or late last year.
Well, you see it in the Facebook group. You see the Facebook group with the ISOs, like, hey, I just figured it out. Or, who's got this one for sale? Who's got that one for sale?
Yep.
So there's new people joining all the time. I think the next move is, and now this might be controversial, it might not be, because I used to be on the other side of it. I used to think stuff was sacred. I used to think like, hey, if I did a Daruma, I don't want to see no other fucking person do a Daruma or whatever. Or if I did a Food Dog, I don't want to see people do it. Like, you can't hold on to that stuff. The next evolution would be like, all right, now that we've done a lot of stuff, how do we do someone else's take on a classic?
Right.
I don't know if we're there yet, but I'm saying like we got to be getting close to 2,000 designs now.
Easy, for sure. We've got to.
If you factor in variations, I'm pretty sure we're over.
Right.
But I'm talking about like 2,000 individual designs.
Right.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if I would like to see like a new Shams by someone else.
Sure.
I don't know if I'm ready for that, but
like
I
get you.
If someone wants to do I don't know, their take on the Black Sheep, let's say, or their take on Killer Serial or Serial Killer, or I don't know, because I see a lot of like times where like certain people are like, oh well, that looks like this, but like I don't, sometimes I don't want to do all that math, man.
Right.
And then that doesn't give you clearance to just like, okay, I'm just gonna copy someone else's portfolio. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying like at some point we gotta let some of these things go, like
get a reimagining of what something is going to look like, that from a concept that already exists. I mean, I think that we saw it just a little bit with the retro designs. Like if you remember the retros of Ruby Throats
or whatever.
Yes, the faux backs. Exactly. Yes, that exactly. I think that the spirit of the original design was kept enough, but evolved into something different enough that everybody appreciated it as a completely new piece of work, and I think that if it evolved that way, I could see more people being on board. But you know how it is, just like any change that works on something that's already been done, it's going to be a divided camp. There's going to be people that hate it. There's going to be people that love it. I mean, it's going to be split. It always works out that way.
Yeah, another one I can think of is like you remember, I think it was Kurt that had like the beer bombers. Like he had like the one where it's like the beer cup with the ball, and then he made another one with the plane. It'd be crazy if like other people just started inserting their designs into something else or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Like make it a universe, so to speak.
Yeah,
in a way, right?
Yeah. That'd be wild.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
I don't know, man. Like for me, like anything like that makes it more collectible, like to hoarders like me and you. like we're all in. It's like, all right, well, you already have 5 of them. All right, well, what's one more?
Right. Yeah. No, I totally agree. And the funny part, Leon, and I'll tell you this, I can remember, there would, like, when you guys first started doing the show, and I would see you in your in your room, and I would see like the boxes behind you, and I would just be like, how do you get there? How do you get so many hats? And then here I am, right there. I mean, with the boxes starting to pile up because there's no place else to go. And it's just because that it just makes sense. That's the way I'm going to keep it ordered, and I know exactly where everything is. But but yeah, it's definitely there's a craziness to this that we're really deep in right now. But seeing more redos of designs would be fun, and of course mixed with the brand new designs, that's got to keep coming. But I think that another the fresh colorway stuff, I think that's gotten better. I mean, since if you think back to when the first fresh colorway dropped, and we were only getting it in bits and pieces, like maybe one at a time, and then it became a couple. And then, when it started dropping in groups, of 6, that even from the first one to what it's evolved to today is head and shoulders better, from where it started. I mean, you look at some of the recent ones, like the, the last one that just came out, what was that, Sedona? That's a super wearable, hat. I mean, it's like
black with colors.
Right. Yeah. Yes. And then Sedona, was a good one. And the one with the one, I can't remember the name. Was it Topanga that had the seagull, the seagull one that was the different birds, the
blue.
Yes. That one, let's see, do I have it handy? I think, oops.
Yeah, I messed up passing on that one.
Yeah, like colorways like this, dude, just really, like this is the evolution that I want to see, of how it's changing, and just becoming good. And then of course, the stuff that's really divided people that I hated when it first started, but it's really grown on me. The side patch, because I really get Casey's point and what he's trying to do, and he's trying to brand, and I get it, but I think this is cool. I think this is so good, I mean, come on. This is so good. Sorry, there we go.
Yeah, I think that's one thing, trying to get like quote unquote more trendy, like seeing something that's within the trend that's might seem normal to us. That I get it. Some people that collect Clink maybe collect Clink because there's no side patches.
Sure.
And it is so polarizing. But at the end of the day, it's like, all right, man, if it's like not for you,
right,
and then you have more money for when something else comes up that you like later. You know, like I don't
Exactly.
like.
Right.
Yeah, you can say your piece, or you can voice your displeasure, but like at what
Right.
point it's like, come on, like they're
Right.
not gonna stop at this point.
Right,
So,
exactly. Because again, we've talked about Casey and the way that he manages business and how he moves, and he does move with purpose, and
yeah,
and there's absolutely a purpose to the side patches, and he's definitely trying to generate business with another segment of the hat community, and there's nothing wrong with that.
mm,
He's still catering, he's still giving the folks that want just no side patches. It's still there, you know
yeah.
and the folks that do want side patches, well, now you've got choices, and then the people like you and me, that like both, you know,
Are
now
super
we're
fucked
just
because now we're just
right
buying
now we're
everything.
yes,
Yeah,
now we're just stuck buying more hats.
yeah, yeah. But it is what it is, man. Um,
Indeed.
did you have anything that you wanted to cover before we get into the thing? I know Heather ended up sending us some questions to go over.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um, one thing that we didn't talk about was the favorite clinks, 1.0 and 2.0.
mhm.
I want to hear from you. What's a couple of hats in what's one hat in each that really moves you, that really gets you deep.
All right, to me, the shams for sure. The wolf in
Yeah.
sheep's clothing
Hmm.
is so freaking iconic. Like you
Yeah.
see it from so far away. You
Yeah.
know the folklore. You know the
Yep.
tale.
Yep.
Beware the wolf in sheep's clothing. I did one of my early capologist hats with Manny Cartoon Studio. We flipped it. We did the
Oh,
sheep in wolf's
yes,
clothing.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
I
yeah.
have that. I have that.
Yeah.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Bob's Revenge.
Yes.
Baba
Yes.
Black Sheep. So
Hmm. Yep.
um that one, Shams 1.0, yeah. And then 2.0, I mean, man, so many.
Right.
But
Where do you start? Right.
yeah, I think like just categorize it. The one I waited the longest for, or the one that I couldn't get out of my head, I guess,
Hmm.
and I couldn't wait to get it, was one that Pierre and Ink Park did, the Bill the Butcher, the Good Butcher.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Like the
Yep.
way that they just did like that little like running man,
Uh-huh.
like red
Yep.
leg,
Right.
Daniel Day Lewis, the Butcher.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
that one really comes to mind. And then the one that's peeking right there, behind your shoulder,
Uh,
the Reaper
yes.
Kong right
Yes.
there.
Yes. Yes. The one you did with Tony, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Hmm.
remember throwing that up to Tony. He's like, "Ah, they're seeing so many Kongs." I'm like, "Yeah, but
Right. Hmm.
these Kongs, they're good. Don't get me wrong. I like
Right.
the other Kongs,
Right.
but I know a one that you can kill." And I pitched him the idea. Like,
Yeah.
make sure the freaking gorilla has a sagittal crest. You bone up the sights, and go to town. And he went and he drew the shit out of that thing. I had
Yeah.
nothing to do with any of the drawings. I maybe told him to tweak a thing here or there, and
Yeah.
that getting that
And there
thing,
it
I was
is.
like, "Yo, this
It's
thing's
amazing.
badass."
Right.
Yeah,
It's
the
fantastic.
Reaper
Yeah.
Kong. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
so those are
Absolutely.
two from
That's cool.
2.0 that kind of stand
That's
out to
cool.
me.
That's
What
cool.
about what
Yeah.
about for you?
Well, for me, we talked a little earlier before we got on about this. My absolute number one favorite 1.0 is Kyoto Kaiju.
Mm.
That was an effort design, and it's just it's
Single color.
I would love to have that that
Uh-huh.
hat
Yeah,
just amazing. Sorry, my wife just passed
it's
by.
cool. Cool.
So,
She's allowed.
but
Yeah.
but but yeah, I would that's one that I would actually probably consider spending a little money for if I came across one in my size, because I'm really pretty adamant about not spending a ton for a hat, and but I just know that I mean Clink 1.0s and 7 3/4 are just rare, period.
Oh,
I'd never see them. I
I mean,
never
eight
ever see them
eight
in
is
my
even
size.
worse. Trust
Right.
me.
Yeah. Good luck for you.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so, and then for 2.0, I mean, I think just for sentimental reasons, in terms of it's the beginning of 2.0, I think that Sidekicks is probably one of my absolute favorites, just because it really opened my eyes to what could be done with embroidery and just how just how special these designs were going to look, over the course of time. So that really holds a special place for me, in the sense that like I said, it opened my eyes to what Clink was going to be.
That
So
was
I think that's
Fairweather
really
League,
cool.
right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I gotta get him on the show.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't
Yeah.
submitted an event,
Yes.
but I gotta
Yes.
get.
Mm-hmm.
I think his name's Jay. Jay, if you're watching, you gotta come on the show.
Yes.
Yeah,
No
that
doubt.
one so good. And he ended up having his own company and doing his own releases.
Yeah.
And I think
Yep.
right when the pandemic started and everyone had trouble getting hats, that was one reason Tony and I ended up doing a couple, just to be totally transparent, because we were having trouble getting freaking hats made.
Right.
So we did a couple Clinks, but it was the same way with him. I think like he had done a bunch of releases, and then the pandemic hit, and then he submitted, and the ones he did are so good, man.
So that leads me to another question, and I mean, hopefully it's okay. We're talking about Clink Room, but you've got something going on that's very similar in that sense. But when you started the Capologist, what was it that got you started with Capologist to make hats like you make with Capologist?
So for me, I'd always bought hats. I'd always liked collecting them. I wasn't like super heavy until I think 2016. I think I remember walking into the New Era store in Toronto.
Okay.
And I was like, yo, there's so many cool like local hats for Toronto. Like I gotta have them all. Like before, like I'm gonna sound so old saying this, but like 2012, 2014 collector, 2016 collector. That collector for me was like looking on lids, finding out like super stuff on sale, $5. You used to be able to ship anything you ordered off lids to the store for free.
Yeah.
I'd be collecting these like $5 hats, $10 hats, going to lids, getting the clearance, meeting people across the country, like, oh, this store's having $10 sale, or this store's having like the hat collector of back then, I feel like was all about like not spending money, but spending money. If that makes any sense.
Right. The volume.
Yeah. So I ended up started getting more heavy in the hats, and then I had a job where we played intramural sports. So the head office was in Dallas.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we ended up making the hats, or we ended up getting the wrong color hats from Dallas, because they're big into baseball, but our colors were royal. They sent their navy. They're supposed to send the hats back to New Era to be destroyed. They ended up not doing it. They sent them shits to Canada. So we were like, these aren't going to match our uniforms. This is not even our company color, but whatever, it's still a hat. And then I was like, whoa. Like I had like a holy shit moment. I was like, you can put your own logo on these?
Yeah, right.
Like, this is crazy. I wear these hats all the time.
Right.
So coach ends up leaving. I end up taking over. And then I would reach out to the different team equipment companies to like, hey, I'm the coach of Multiview Canada. We have an account down in the States. Can I order my new hat? They ended up saying yes. So we started making hats. We do that for a little while. We started making jerseys, doing hats. I post them online. People's like, yo, I want to buy your hat. I'm like,
no. What are you talking about?
My freaking hat? What are you talking about? I ended up doing that.
Yeah.
Buying. And then I would commission different artists to because I can't draw.
Yeah.
So we'd commission different artists and whatever. And I didn't have a brand. I never like thought, I was like, yeah, this is going to be like a long-term business, but I would just like come up with random customs.
Right. And I remember, I remember some of your early ones, at least, well, that was later for you, but some of the early ones for me, like the Foo Dog and the Daruma, and and then you did a couple others like, in that vein. So I totally know. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so I'll always remember. So shout out to Kevin from London, Ontario. He had I forget his name, this rep's name. John, I think it was. They ended up taking us out for me and a bunch of Canadians taking us out for lunch.
Okay.
And they're telling me, oh, we're going to give you guys access to GCP now. You guys don't have to, because for those who don't know, like the team equipment colors is a lot less than what we can design with the GCP program.
Okay.
And it's like, yeah, we're going to take you, like, you could set up a website. We could put on your website, like, New Era authorized dealer. Like, okay, cool.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Right.
And then I was like, you sure? I don't even have a website. I was doing everything like hush hush. And he's like, yeah, just go for it. I'm like, all right. So at the time I had commissioned Tony for a couple hat designs, like the Rat King. I commissioned something for my little brother. He was like a big polo fan.
Okay.
So I ended up commissioning Tony to draw my brother like a polo bear, but with all the stuff he wore.
Okay.
And I ended up making him like a hoodie, a t-shirt, and getting him a print, like a hand-done print by Tony. I ended up paying him whatever. I'm like, this guy's really easy to work with. He's super fast. He's super good.
Right.
So the timing just worked out, and I just gave him a call. I'm like, look, I have this opportunity. I think we could start something. Let's just work together. You'll be my artist, and we'll make a thing. And then I don't remember what made me think of the name Capologist, but I wanted something where it was like mixing or just brewing something for hats.
Right. Concocting,
and I think,
right?
Yeah, and I think Capologist wasn't like really like a word. It was like for someone who specializes in the salary cap. So I'd heard like that term before, like the capologist, like someone that the GM of a sports team would ask someone to analyze the salary cap.
I've heard that. I've heard it in that context before.
Yeah,
I totally know what you're saying.
That's so cool. Like we'll be the capologists together. And I think like adding the in front of capologist made our website cheaper or something like that. So I think if it was just capologist, or capology or something like that, it would like cost more. So I was like, all right, whatever, like $10. Yeah, we'll make a website. So anyway, we do all that, and then they never let us do that. They never let us say that we're a New Era vendor. So
that's
eventually we kept releasing. And eventually we turned in like a few heads, and we were helped out by New Era, and then we eventually got our account. So now here we are. Whatever, almost 5 years. We're about to celebrate our 5-year work anniversary. Hundreds of hats. Cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been a ride, man.
Good. I mean, I remember when it was first kicking off, and it was hats and pins. I mean, you guys did a lot of fun pins. I mean, I've got several, in my collection from you guys. And
our first couple years was Facebook group invite only pre-orders. We'd post a mock-up.
I was there.
Hey, we got this bear for autism. This money will go to that. Let us know who wants it, and you had to trust us. And you,
absolutely. All
right, give me a 3/4. Cool. I'd write your name in manually.
Right. Yeah,
they'd come in. I'd pack them boxes.
Absolutely remember that, dude. Yeah. My wife's a teacher for kids with autism, and she's got one of your hats, man. She wears it. Man. She wears it to school during Autism Awareness Week. So
that's freaking awesome.
It's really but everything that you just described, I totally remember that. I remember the lists on Facebook. I remember looking for my name. Okay, did I pay? Am I there?
Was I on this order? Yes.
Right.
I remember I post the extras. That. That's why I always say don't sleep. When I still say it to this day, don't sleep. Whatever. But we'd post the extras when they came in. And it was just such a small operation at first, and then it kind of did better, and then it kind of we're better. Sure. Now we're better again. It's just exactly. It goes in waves. But it's been fucking fun, man.
That's cool. Do you have a favorite hat that you guys have done?
Well, favorite, I think most recognizable, probably the Kawamoto. A
lot of iterations of that one too. That one's been it's sustainable. It's totally gone through a lot of different versions, and I mean, and as they've come out, I've noticed the later ones are selling out even faster. The last three. I think the last 3 that you dropped sold out way faster than I anticipated, to the point where the Dodger one that you did, the Dodger colorway one that you guys did, I missed that. Because I went to it later in the same day. I missed the drop time, and my size was already gone. So it's just the samurai, the Kawamoto Samurai has been, it's really taken on some life, so that's a good one. That's definitely a good one.
The one that's like All right, so I have a couple. So like,
Okay.
obviously the autism series means a lot to me. I don't know anyone like personally that I had to
Hmm.
like grow up with that has it.
Right.
I know a lot of people who have either like family or kids.
Sure. Right.
So when Brian originally reached out to do it for his son Hunter, so Hunter's
Hmm.
turtle, that
Right.
one was really meaningful because I was able to help a friend kind of
Hmm.
express and raise awareness and then
Right.
donate to a cause. And the same thing with Frank when he brought the project over with his best friend Leo, and we can honor Ellie with Ellie's bear. So obviously
Yeah.
those ones,
Yep.
the the Australian bushfire hats that we raise money, and it's so funny. Like when we
Yeah.
donated, they gave us um like an explanation of like, all right, so your money went to this, and it was like, all
Oh,
right,
really?
we
Oh,
built
that's
two
cool.
pens, and
Nice.
it benefited like these two goats. I forget the goat's name, and
Okay.
I told Tony, I was like, yo, we gotta do a goat clip
Right.
for the thing, but he's like, nah,
Yeah.
whatever. But
Yeah. Yep.
yeah, just like the first ones where we could like really make something
Yeah.
to raise awareness, do a
Hmm.
cool product, donate back. That was super awesome. And then for me, the food dog. So
Yeah.
tracking down the food dog was a fucking mission. I don't know if I've ever
Really.
told the story of how I did it on tape, but basically, before I started Capologist with Tony, I would like look at different artists and see who's
Sure.
working. And Absorb 81 was the original artist of the food dog.
Okay.
So his name's Craig. So I originally reached out. I was like, "Yo, I love this design. How much to license it?"
Hmm.
He's like, "I can't license you that one because it's sold to a client, but I can draw you a new one. It's
Okay.
$1,000. a thousand
Oh.
dollars." I was like,
Oh.
"Oh, that's a
Right.
lot. I don't even know if I'll
Yeah.
make the money
Right.
back." At
Right.
the time, I had just licensed the Daruma for
Okay.
$250.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
shout out Blackout Brother. He's from like Thailand, I think, or Singapore,
Okay.
something like that.
Hmm.
And I'm like, Craig, man, I just spent like 250 US, which is a lot in
Right.
Canada. I don't know if I
Right.
could afford 1,000. He's like,
Right.
well, sorry, man. I'm like, all right,
Right.
cool. So I ended
That's the
up
price.
buying a cheaper license, I think $25 of the Werewolf, the Huskies, off his
Okay. Oh,
website.
yeah. Okay. I remember that one.
So
Yeah.
that's the same artist. So then later on, I ended up finding someone. I don't know how, but I ended up finding someone had tattooed the food dog on himself,
Okay.
and he had run a patch company. So I just reached out to him like, "Are you the guy that commit?" Because I was like, "It's got to be the guy. If he's got the
Yeah.
tattoos,
Right.
he's got to be the guy that
Right.
commissioned
Right. Yeah.
Absorb 81."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, that's me." Like, why? And I'm like, "Yo, you don't even know. Like, I love that logo. I fucking
Yeah.
love that logo." And there's two: is
Yeah.
a male and a female. They look the same, but they're a little bit different. One has a cub, one has a the world.
Right.
And I'm like, yo, what would it cost me to license the shit? He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I want to make a hat out of it. He's like, well, I use it for patches. It's kind of personal to me. I'm like, dude, I will not fuck this up. Like,
Right.
please
Right.
just let me. Like, what would it cost me? And he's just like, just give me a hat anytime you do it.
That really?
So
Really?
that, yeah, like, so that was like a
Wow.
full. Now that
Yes.
took like 3 years
Yes.
from like when
Wow.
I originally reached out to Absorb 81 to when I got the first one. I think it was like 3 years, I think. And we've been doing them for like another 3 years, I think.
Right. Right.
But
The food dog and the Daruma were the first two customs that I ever bought from you.
oh wow.
That's what started it for me was those two hats. And as a matter of fact, I came in late when you had just, I think you'd already closed the pre-order for the food dog. So I missed the original one, the first one that you
Just
dropped.
ahead.
I missed
Yeah.
that. But the Daruma came next, so I grabbed that, and then I've been grabbing the food dogs as they come out, since. So
Yeah.
I
If
mean,
you
just
look at just the head version,
mhm.
you can see how bad my Photoshop skills are. Because
Oh,
I
really?
had to, there's no like, so basically he sent me the art, it was the full body. But we
Okay,
couldn't, I wasn't trusting enough to do the full body, so I just
sure,
did just the
sure,
head. So
right,
basically I had like somehow chopped off the body, and then a certain part of it I had to like mirror. Like
you kind of pieced it back
it's
together. Is that what you
janky on
did?
the bottom. Yeah,
Oh, okay, okay,
you don't notice on like to the naked
right,
eye, but if you look at
right.
the hat,
If you
you'll
really look
see that
close, yeah.
it's kind of
Well,
janky at the
now I'm
bottom.
gonna have to pull them all out and take a look.
Yeah, you'll never know. But that hat and and then just being able to kind of bring in Tony's like Grim Reaper series. Like
Yeah,
for a long time
yeah.
I was really, really like protective in the
Hmm.
sense that like all other people do Reapers. I'm like, yeah, you're not as good as Tony, man.
Yeah, right.
But like
Yeah,
now, like,
exactly.
all right, okay, cool. Like you guys can try, like
Hmm.
whatever. So yeah, those are kind of like the ones that stand out to me.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Thank you for the little bit of history there on the capologist.
No problem, man.
that's not something we get to hear a lot, from you because you're always on the other side. You're
I'm always
always the
sticking the
one
microphone
asking
in
the
front of someone's
questions.
faces.
Uh huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly. So
I don't get to like sometimes I feel like I want to stay humble and I don't want to like, look too much back in the
right,
past and
right.
whatever. But like sometimes like you got to take the time to really enjoy what you did
Yeah.
and to know
Absolutely.
you've really been there because
Sure.
you know it's a trip, man. And like I had someone reach out to me today. It's like, hey, like how do you sign? How do I sign up to do what you do? I want to do what you do. I'm like, yeah, I get you want to do what I do, but there's no
Yeah.
path.
Right.
There's no set path. There's no set way you can do it. Like if you want to
And
do what I did, like I don't know if you're ready to do that. Like,
yeah, well, it's not only just that. I mean, think about the amount of years that you put into it. So it's
mm,
not just like you don't have this formula that you can just hand over to somebody and say, okay, this is what you do, and next week you're going to be up and running. It just doesn't
yeah,
work that way.
yeah,
You've got to spend time. You've got to invest time into what you're doing, and you've clearly done that. I mean, and that the staying power of the capologist is a testament to that. And starting from humble beginnings of the face like you said the Facebook group lists and pre-orders and just we got to go on a limb and trust you on it to now we've got a website that we can order your hats from and it's cool stuff so I mean
oh, it's been a trip.
you've got good stuff out there so you should be happy to talk about it.
No, I appreciate that. I
So
appreciate that.
you've got a contribution out there that you've made to the community. So
Yeah, definitely. No,
definitely
it's just something I don't
don't
really
feel.
like.
Hmm.
Yeah, sometimes I feel guilty about taking the
Hmm.
spotlight from someone else, or or I don't
Get out of here.
talk about it myself. Like, yeah, just
Yeah,
I'm really self conscious about certain stuff, and
sure. Yeah,
yeah, like sometimes you don't get to
get it.
enjoy it.
Yep, I get it. Well, you
Yeah,
should definitely enjoy it for sure.
appreciate you.
For sure.
Uh, anything else you want to
So
cover?
no, let's jump into
Perfect.
some of this Clink Room stuff, man. Let's see it.
All right, so we talked about it a little bit. So Sedona was the
Ah,
latest Fresh Colorway. So we got
yeah,
six new colorway or
yeah.
new
Hmm.
new versions
New
or
fresh colorways. Yep.
iterations
Hmm.
of these. So we're seeing a lot of black hats with
Yeah.
specific color pops or color
Right.
UVs. So
Right.
um where do you stand with the color UV? So now um you're seeing a lot of people not I don't want to say a lot. There's a group of people that don't like anything other than green or gray. Are you
Right.
okay with
Absolutely.
the colored undervisor?
With colored undervisor, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, granted, there's certain colors that aren't my favorite,
Mhm.
and so be it. I move on to the next one. But I do like different colors. I love green. I love a green underbrim.
Mhm.
If the only hats I could buy only came with green underbrims, I'd be totally cool with that.
Yeah.
But I love the different colors, that are available, and I think it adds a different dimension. I'm typically partial to two-tone hats myself,
Yeah.
so I like the colored underbrim even more because now you've got a three-color hat,
Yeah.
and that I think is the coolest thing in the world. But this kind of stuff, the full black crowns with the color pop, as you say on the inner visor, that's a super wearable hat. You can put this with anything. You know,
So
I think that's good stuff.
here's where I kind of stand on this topic. I love green, I love gray,
Hmm.
but when it comes to customs, I feel like I could be a little more loose with that
Yeah,
requirement. Now, if these all had green or all had gray, I'd be fine with it too.
yeah,
But the fact
sure.
that this was red, blue, and olive,
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah,
not. It doesn't make me not want it, I guess.
Right.
So
Well, I'll tell you
because
what.
it's complete custom.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, the Arizona Scorpions, I wanted more because it had the olive UV.
Okay.
Honestly, yeah, absolutely.
Fair enough.
Absolutely.
All
So,
right.
yeah.
So we got this. Honestly, this drop Sedona, very hard to limit yourself to
Mhm.
less than 4, I would say. I
Yeah.
somehow got it down to 2.
I
I'm scared
managed
to ask you.
I went with 3.
You
I
had
went
3. Okay, all right, cool.
this slide, that's me right there.
The whole slide.
I got
Okay.
those 3. I got those 3. Yep, the whole slide.
All right, fair enough.
I
So what?
originally held myself to just Sunbirds and the Scorpions, but then I went back the same day and said, okay, I gotta add the sand snakes too.
Okay. What made you do the 3? Like what over the other 3? Because this is a hard week, man.
Yeah, this was definitely a tough one. The Sunbirds, I just really like the colors in the embroidery. I really like those colors, and it really pops, off of that black crown. I think it's perfect. The Scorpions, this was an easy one for me. I never bought that original one. And so that's one draw for me, is that I never had the original. And then, like I said, the olive UV, excuse me, to go along with the colors that are in there, just, top notch. I love that hat. It's probably my favorite out of all 6. And then the sand snakes, I think it just looks cool. I think that just with the red eyes, I think that's just a, super cool look. And it's connected to that red UV. I think that's a really neat look, without a doubt. But Arizona Scorpions is definitely my favorite.
Yeah, it's got that like old Arizona Coyotes Kachina style.
Yeah.
And then it's in that colorway.
Yeah.
And then they just moved. Like there's just so much good about it.
Yep.
I don't know why I'm thinking I don't own that hat.
Yeah.
I'm really regretting it. But it's just one of those things. Is unlimited budget is I wish I had it.
Exactly.
But,
right.
Sunbirds, that's one that when you see the mock-up, you probably don't think you gotta have it, but that's when you see the hat, you're like, yo, how did I miss that?
Yep.
And then
absolutely.
Sand snakes, I really want it. I have the original.
Yeah,
so
I do too.
Like, all right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I tried to talk myself out of it because I had the original.
It's so good though. It's so good though. Because it's so different than the original. Because the original's on a Vegas gold black, right?
Right.
This is all black.
Yeah.
Completely different hat to me.
Yeah.
But all 3 winners.
Yeah, total solid right there, without a doubt.
And then we got Tatanka Nampa, Badlands, and Desert Rose. What do you think on these 3?
Of those 3, the one that I held off on, but I almost got as well, was Tatanka Nampa. I thought the colors on that one look really good. I was able to kind of push myself off it a little bit because I normally like that rust colored UV. But I just wasn't feeling it, in this particular combo. I know a lot of people like it, which is cool. I think the design is neat. I think out of these 3, I like that one the best, just because I just love the way the color treatment works on that logo design. I think it looks really good. Desert Rose was another one that I was contemplating because I don't have it. And if you look up really close, I really love the embroidery on the cactus, because it really, it's nice and raised, and it just adds a different, nice 3D element to the whole thing, and looks really good. But again, Tatanka is definitely my favorite of the 3. How about you?
Tatanka.
Yeah,
I think I have.
You got that. You got that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I have the original one, but I don't know. Just Marlon is such a cool guy, and I have a funny story too. So we both wear size 8, Marlon and I. And there was this guy that was selling vintage hats, size 8.
Okay.
And I was cleaning them out. And for whatever reason, for this like last batch that he dropped, Marlon got to it first, and he beat me to 2 hats that I still to this day I'm mad about, because he was selling the hats for like $20-$30 a pop.
Oh damn.
Right. So it was the original Kingston Indian K with the goofy mascot.
Yeah.
And then it was the Clink Room Mishka size 8.
What?
He ended up
scooping
both
me?
of them. Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Yeah. Oh my god.
Wow. And to this day, I'm like, yo, you bastard.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
Yeah. And I bought probably like 50 hats from that guy.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
you
that's
know,
brutal.
it
Yeah.
happens, man.
Right.
So
Yeah, it does. But man, but that's a bad get right there. You know, that
yeah, because that's never
oh, that's
coming up
tough.
in my sizing.
Right. That's tough. Yeah.
So
No, it's not.
shout out to Marlon, great guy.
Yeah. For sure. For
For those
sure.
who don't know, he's the well, I mean, we brought up concept artist. He's part of the original concept artist. Now
Right.
I think about
Yeah,
it.
that's true. Very true. Yeah.
All the work he's done with Casey.
Yeah. Right.
And yeah, Casey's usually the guy doing the art on them, but
Okay. Okay. I didn't totally realize that. Okay.
Yeah, Marlon's the concept guy.
Got it.
They tell the stories and they do the thing, but Casey's usually the art behind that.
Got it.
But yeah, so I'll show
that's
them
interesting.
off.
I didn't know that. Yeah,
real quick
cool.
because I do have them in hand. So let me get to it. So yeah,
nice.
I missed the original, man, and just it's
so
simple yet so good. And then,
excuse me, I have the original, and I like the way that one pops better. You know, the original's good. That one pops great. That's really good, dude. That embroidery, the detail in that embroidery is super nice.
Yeah, sorry, talking to me might cost you like $70.
That's
but nice. Yeah, you're right. It's different with the rust. You would have thought based on the color it might be red, but maybe there's another.
Exactly. Right.
I think there was another red one, so maybe that's why they did the rust. I don't mind it.
Gotcha. No, not at all.
But
no, but that looks really good. I mean, the embroidery detail, and I like the geometric design. You know, the
kind of like an M.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they're kind of
that's really cool.
Chicago Bulls colorway too, maybe. This one just is stunning, but
that's nice.
Yeah, but I'm with you. The other, I might have made a mistake with not getting the Arizona Scorpions. It's probably sold in my size. I'm gonna check after, but yeah, Sand Snakes is killer too.
Here, I've got it in hand.
All right, let's see this. Hold on. Yeah, I gotta go grab it.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold it back from my light because my stupid light is making it wash out. But so good, dude. And that olive UV, this is right up my alley. But just so good. Yeah. So,
damn.
Yep, there we go.
All right.
Yeah, look at that color, man.
I'm gonna go check after we start recording.
Yeah, you're gonna have to.
Yeah.
I was gonna tell you, if you show me that Marlin hat one more time, I'm probably gonna go buy that.
Freaking Donovan probably bought it. We'll see.
Right?
We'll see. All right. All right. And then now these sticks hats are up for last call. So don't make the mistake, the Sunday night mistake. So these 6 hats will be going into production. What do you think of Great 48, Soulstorm, or Enchanted Earth? What sticks out to you?
Soulstorm was my number one of these 3. I pre-ordered that one. I'll be honest, I'm just completely drawn to the colors. You know, that's what's getting me. And
the pinks and purples,
yeah, just absolutely that swirl of the pinks and purple. I'm interested to see how it's going to turn out. You know, I'm really looking forward to what that's going to look like. But yeah, that's what's really drawn me in. Now, Great 48, the more I look at it, the more I like it.
Yeah.
But I keep telling myself,
you're not
from Arizona. You like it, but how much are you going to wear it? Because you're not from Arizona.
You're not from Arizona. Yeah.
Exactly. You know, because I mean, and you know who got me turned on to it was Paco. You know, Paco was just like, oh, that hat's the best. Oh, it's great. And I'm just like, yeah, dude, but you're from Arizona. You know, I got all hyped on it. And then I'm like, well, wait a minute. You know, I'm from California.
And the colors are really specific, right? So it's got the tan, and then the kind of Sedona red with the copper, and then I think that's like their state gemstone too, emerald or something.
Oh, okay.
Hold on, I could be wrong. You talk about while I look it up.
Yeah, but the detail is what I really like about it, and as we've seen in the past, what really one of the things that excels in designs from the Clink Room is landscape designs, dude. I don't know how many times I've kind of said, oh no, that's cool, but I'm not going to get it. And then I see it embroidered and it looks amazing, you know? And so I think this is one of those ones that's going to look fantastic when it's actually in hand. I think it's going to look really good, but you know, I just don't see myself wearing it. And even though I don't wear all of my hats, I do buy them with the intention that I'm going to wear them eventually. And like I said, you know, for me, that's just not a super wearable, but I think it's going to look really good. I really do.
So turquoise. is the
Oh,
official
okay.
designated official
Got
gemstone
it.
of Arizona.
Got it.
See, sometimes I say
Uh-huh.
smart stuff, and I'm a Canadian that remembers random American facts. But
uh,
that one is, the more I look at it, man, the more. But yeah, I couldn't be further from freaking Arizona too.
right. Exactly.
Living in
But
Toronto,
it looks good. You know, it
yeah,
looks good.
and
And
it's
the
got the
side
special
patch.
side patch.
Yep.
I might have to do it.
I could see it turning out really good,
1912,
but that's one of those ones
inception
that I think,
too, right?
I think I might wait and see if it hits dead stock and, really, really, really take a look at what that embroidery looks like,
Yeah. And then Ryan Simmons, man, like
Mhm.
learning a little bit about him and knowing that he's an actual animator, and how he talked about, like one of the things he was trained on was every time you're drawing for animation, every cell has to look good as a still frame.
Yeah, it's a standalone. Okay.
Yeah, so like just knowing that's his philosophy, and then seeing
Right.
something and then
That
just
he's
kind of like
perfecting
analyze
that.
it. Yeah, it's like,
Yeah,
damn,
I
he's
gotcha.
good.
Yeah, I gotcha. And and looking and seeing some designs that kind of are similar to this. I think there's one that hit recently with the
Raptor
I think it's
Rider.
with the gnome on the eagle or something like that.
Raptor
It
Rider.
just and that actually looks really cool. It's not my style of logo that I look for, but it really turned out really cool. I mean, I'm really kind of impressed with how the details came out.
Yeah, that one just delivered, right?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised to see the detail on this one just turn out just the same, in terms of quality.
Well, that's probably the same dude that was riding the Raptor that's looking at
Yes.
and
Yep.
going away.
Watching him fly away. Yep.
Yeah. So if you caught that,
Mhm.
you gotta buy the other ones.
Right. You got a series now. Yeah, exactly. You got a series. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But that's another guy when you talk about those things could tell a story. You want to know more information because he's from that world of animation.
Right.
This
and he's telling a story. Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Without a doubt.
There you go.
Without a doubt.
I didn't even put two and two together.
Yeah.
All right. Washed Up, Fright, and the Sugar Sidewinders. That one's still funny. All right. What are your thoughts here?
Sugar Sidewinders. Personally, I think that right there. I know we've already seen an minor league logo that's similar to that, but I think this is a minor league logo. That's totally what it makes me think of. I love it. I think it's a great design. I want to say I'm pretty sure I ordered that one. I did definitely like that one. It's and the funny thing is that I don't really care for teal shades, very much.
Okay.
But I can't get away from it, and a lot of the cool designs, I mean, it keeps popping up and I can't seem to get away from it. So it's kind of growing on me. So
just on this page is like Northwest green, teal, and aqua.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
You can barely tell the difference.
Mm-hmm.
But when you see them like this, you're like, oh, okay, well, they are different.
Yeah. You can see the difference. Right. Yeah. But of these three, my two favorite are the Sugar Sidewinders and Fright. I've really come around to these designs that Sierra Gons does. I really like the intricacy in the designs because the colors just show up so well, in every one of the designs that he's done that's similar to this, that similar style. So he's kind of becoming one of those guys that when I first look at a design, if I think, no, I'm kind of on the fence, I'm pushing myself over, and I'm grabbing.
What I like about Sierra, shout out to Sierra too, is like there's nothing that's like completely random. So I know when I'm looking at this, I don't know what the hell I'm looking at, but I know if I research whatever this is, I'm gonna learn something.
Yes,
and that's what's
100%.
Cool about his stuff. Like,
yes,
it's not just some like, true. Oh, I feel like drawing some, whatever. Like I can almost guarantee you that there's something behind this design, and that's what's cool about it. Sugar Sidewinders looks like a theme night for the Tucson Sidewinders. Like
absolutely.
Just
that snake wrapped around that churro. That's so cool.
And then Washed Up. That's another one, like a cool, good vibes. It's kind of done in like almost like a Seattle colorway, but it's got that peach, so it's completely different.
I think South Beach when I look at that, the colors. Okay. I think of like Art Deco, you know, down in Miami Beach. That's what comes to mind when I see that design. You know, maybe the palm tree is influencing me in that way. But that's what I think of.
It's close to like the Marlins like aqua kind of color. So yeah, it's definitely a ride. But yeah, 2 gray bottoms.
Yeah.
On
right.
these ones, and
kind of surprising.
The baseball theme-ish one for sure has a gray bottom, so I think that's a great idea. But yeah, they nailed it. And then we just had the shock drop. So this shock drop happened yesterday. Speaking of Marlin, All My Relations, the dance version came out.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this?
I have this. I have the original in this one. I think it's a great logo. I really, really like it. This colorway is not my style. You know, it's like it has to be a design that really gets me excited to go with colors like this, because I tend to be more of a darker color kind of guy. Black and green combos, or the other darker 2 tones. So I definitely like the way this looks, but I just couldn't see myself wearing it. But I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I don't hate it.
Yeah. So the thing about Marlin stuff is I feel like all of at least the first runs of all his stuff, they're always like proper thought out colors.
Yes,
the colors meant something, whatever.
Yes,
and then this one is just fun. I have it in hand, so
yeah, sure. Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah. So,
okay. Oh, that's nice. That's actually really nice.
Yeah, kind of like you said, like Vice, kind of Miami.
Yeah.
It's just fun.
For sure.
I have the original.
Yeah.
I have most of his original stuff.
I do too. Yeah, I do too.
But it's just different enough that, like, hey, I feel like Marlin doesn't really kind of go in this kind of vibe, I guess, a little bit. So I just felt like you had to.
Maybe that's why that's a good one to have.
It's different enough.
It's different.
Sure. It's like the same.
Yep. I get you.
But I don't know when the next time I would have got like a black beetroot and freaking Vice blue hat.
Right.
So
very true.
Yeah, All My Relations, the shock drop. Great job.
Very nice.
All around.
Very nice.
And then now we shall get into the crits. So again, now we're doing the cream of the crop. So out of the however many people submit, they're still doing 15. And then we'll whittle that down. So we're cutting the 15 down to 10. So you only see 10.
Gotcha.
But from there, it seems like the number is like 2 to 3, sometimes maybe 4.
Yeah,
these ones will get through.
Right.
So it's like the cream of the crop, I feel like. So like
sure.
they'll save like a slot or 2 for like old submissions, probably that got reworked, and then something that we totally haven't seen. So let's do this. So first up, Heather, we brought her up a couple times, but she's got the Gothic Guardian. From my
is this the first time we've seen this?
I was gonna say no. This was probably the first gargoyle we've ever seen. But yeah, I know this is. I think this is like an older submission for her.
That's what I mean. We've seen her submit this before. I think that she reworked this, right?
I don't know if it ever made it to crits. I don't know if it ever made it to crits.
Maybe I just saw it from her posting to get attention on it, right?
So, but I could be wrong, man. My memory is so bad nowadays. But I don't remember any guardians. Gargoyles. Right? We haven't had any gargoyles come through.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Not that comes to mind.
Yeah. What do you think of this?
I like it for the detail. I think the green mossy colors on it. It's a little odd for me, but I'm gonna trust it. Because I know if this were to go through to the shop and go to pre-order, that Casey's going to make that stuff work. He's if it stays. But I really like the base design. I like I think it captures what we know of those guardian gargoyle statues. I think it nailed it.
So for me, I like it. It's drawn real well. Yeah. I think I would tweak 2 things. So first off, it almost looks like it's at a crossroads. So it's like either you want to go for like the old weathered gargoyle.
Okay.
So if that's the case, I would make it look like maybe chunks are falling off, or you know what I mean, like a little
Okay,
bit more
yes.
weathered.
Sure.
Or I'm cool with it looking like this, where it's like almost ready to go. So
Okay.
maybe I would do something where like maybe half of it's weathered, but then the other half is like realistic, like he's
Mm,
actually turning into something
right.
that could move. And in that case, I'd
Okay.
probably just get rid of the base, you
Gotcha.
know.
Yeah. Yeah, I could
But
definitely see that. Right.
that's me being kind of nitpicky. I think the art
Sure.
is awesome.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
think she's an awesome artist. She's an awesome
Yeah.
person. We DM all the time. Shout out to her. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think starting strong. This is really
Yeah,
good.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. Number 2, Sushi Boat, Clinker Phil and Lane. We spoke a little bit
Uh,
about Lane, and he's
yeah.
here.
hmm
What do you think?
Um, I love stuff like this. And it really it took me a little bit to come around to food personified.
Yeah.
But I love because like Sushi Slammers, I think was one of the first ones that I got that I just loved. And so
Mhm.
now I'm all in, on this stuff. I think this is fun.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, it's Asian themed,
Yeah.
right? So that's one of the reasons that, because I know it will resonate within my family.
Yeah.
They'll recognize, what it is. And I think it's a fun design. I really do. I think that, knowing what we've seen, stuff turn out, I think this will turn out really well. I think this is going to look really good, and it's a fun design. That's what I love about it.
Yeah. So also like the little piece of wasabi, the
Uh-huh.
freaking
Yep.
the flippers look like they're
Yep.
seaweed. The
Yeah.
flag
Yeah.
is like a piece of
hmm
sashimi. Like
Right?
yeah. And
It's great.
it's the huge when you go to the sushi restaurant, you get the sushi boat. Like
Yes. Uh-huh.
it just nails
Absolutely.
it. All blue
Yep.
cap,
Yep. Yep. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I think this is going to turn out great. I think it's going to, if it makes it through, I think it'll look fantastic. I really would look forward to how this is going to embroider. Yeah, but again, the design itself, it just, it gives me a chuckle. It makes me smile.
Mhm.
Like it's a fun design, all around.
Yeah. It looks like the flag is like a chopstick too.
Yep.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah.
Maybe I would make the
But the
flag a piece of
but
ginger.
but the little wasabi piece is it's just so good. Like you said,
Hilarious.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's great. It's
Yeah.
great. Yeah,
That's the
this is
thing with
solid.
Phil is he's got such his stuff makes it like have so much personality.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing
It's
I would do,
great personality with a sense of humor.
yeah, one thing I would do potentially is to
Mhm.
go the darkest brown and just make it look like they're on soy sauce
Oh, okay. You mean like a
instead of
like a burnt
water.
wood? Like a burnt
Yeah,
wood color?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
All right. I could see that. I could definitely see that.
yeah. So instead of them just being on water,
Yeah.
they're just
Right.
on this
Right.
whole thing of
They're on
soy
the
sauce.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
true. Oh, okay. I could
yeah.
totally see that.
And then the shark fin, that little dorsal fin, I'd turn that into
Yeah.
surf clam. But other than that, we're good. We're good.
Oh,
It's
that's
still cool
great.
as is. I'm just
Uh-huh. No,
thinking out
it's
loud,
yeah.
like
Yeah, I gotcha. I gotcha.
it could
No,
be even
I
a good
think it's cool.
2.0.
Yeah,
Yeah. And if
definitely.
you've ever
Yep.
gotten pranked and told that wasabi is a green tea ice cream, don't do it. That'll ruin your day.
Yes,
But
yes, it will. With a quickness.
yeah. But good job, Phil. Good job,
Yeah,
Lane.
yeah, definitely. That's a
Number
good one.
3. Oof. Staying within like the nautical kind of theme, we're going Pirate
Right,
Gambit by a Win
right.
Studio. What do you think?
I'm back and forth on Wynn's stuff, because I think that sometimes his designs really appeal to me, and other times it's a little bit elaborate,
Mm,
for my taste. Um, I like I like the way this looks, and I think that if this made it through the shop, it's going to sell well because it's a skull, and we both know that skulls go crazy in the shop for some
I
reason.
love a good
So
skull.
yeah, absolutely. But I really think that the parrots are a fun touch, with those cross swords. I think, you know, I guess the club symbol, for a playing card, is a great shape for this, and I guess it fits that gambling theme if we're talking about, from Gambit.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
I'm not really certain, what the shape, would be relevant for a pirate, but nonetheless, I like, the way this looks. I really think that this could definitely work. But those parrots, for some reason, I don't know. That's what's getting me on this is the parrots. I really like those. The color is really good. What color do you think that undervisor is?
Looks like Vegas gold, or maybe
Yeah,
maybe a tan, or like
that's the
maybe a
only thing
bone
I'd be a
color.
little bit unsure.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I'd be a little unsure of. I'll be honest that sometimes these colors, this combination of colors, gives me a 49ers vibe, San Francisco 49ers vibe. And sometimes I steer away from stuff that gives me a football team vibe, But I can see myself going for this. I think it's got a good sinister feel to it that could translate really well. We've seen stuff like this come out of the shop looking really good.
Yeah, this is like the Raiders got stuck with the Bucks and became the 49ers or something. I don't know how I feel about this art wise.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't argue with it. It's cool. It's a spade,
Right.
It makes sense. Pirates, macaws, whatever, parrots, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. I just I don't know. I just think that I don't know.
I get it. I get what you're saying.
Great. It looks great. I don't know if it tells enough of a story. That's all.
Well, I was just going to say that. I wonder I don't know what it makes me think, so therefore I can't really come up with a story. So it's not really telling me much of a story at this moment,
Yeah. It looks cool as hell. I can never draw this.
Like I said, if it came through, it'll probably look really good.
It'll probably sell real well too. Yeah.
Yeah. It'll probably look really good.
Yeah. We'll see. But I mean, he's always solid. My critique with his stuff is sometimes it's just missing that little bit of punch, maybe a little bit of soul, a little bit of and I think, but he's smart though, because he's like he's drawing stuff and doing stuff that just gets voted well, right? But for me, it's like I like that extra bit of like, hey, that's quirky, or that's
right.
Whatever. I just feel like it. Yeah,
you want some character to it, a little bit of like, like we've been talking about this whole time, is just something that makes you think, I want to know more, and that's not here.
Yeah. Art wise, great art.
Right.
Great art.
Yep.
But for me, a little bit lacking on the substance part. Like, what am I looking at? But still a great artist. All right.
Yep. Definitely.
This word is back again. Sukanarami Breeze.
Yeah.
So
the way I understand it, the inspiration on this one, it wasn't necessarily inspiration, but this was one of the earlier designs of the original Sakuranami.
Yeah.
And so the Sakuranami that we know now is what evolved from this. This is like one of the early tries. I think it's cool. I could definitely see myself wearing this hat, but I need it, because the actual Sakuranami that we got is way better than this.
I was about to say that. That's the thing.
It's way better. Yeah, it's way better than this. So I could see myself wearing it, but at the same time, I could see myself going, I've already got one that's better. I don't need it,
The problem with something like this is like, it's good. So if the problem is we know what the other one is. So if we hadn't seen the other one and got this one first, we'd be cool with it.
Yep.
And we'd go and get the other one. I just feel like you're almost doing yourself a disservice, because now we know it's already built in our head. The other one's better.
Yes.
So,
right.
I don't think it's different enough.
Right.
Like, it's even the same colorway as the original one.
Yeah.
So, if you want to go here, you got to go different in terms of like, maybe you make it an all mono, like a graphite. You work instead of white, you're gonna go seashell or something.
Right. Yeah.
It's got to be different.
Right.
More different. And
yes. Right.
It's not. It's almost. I don't want to say insulting, because that's not the right word. Because it's still cool. Like, we get to see the origin story, of what came to be almost a flawless design. Right. But then you can also see why they went
Yeah.
from here.
Why it went from to the next level. Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So for me, I would say maybe don't do one of these. Maybe do a pin or something, or maybe
yeah, that's true. Right.
Yeah, maybe do a
That's very true.
sticker or something. It doesn't have to be a hat
Right.
potentially,
Right.
but it still will probably do well.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all. And I think that I imagine the colorway probably would remain unchanged because we've seen a couple of hats that came out, with a certain theme that had more red in it that ended up going with this colorway, just because we know people like it,
A cool thing could be is you take this, you put it on as a side patch, and then you rework.
That thought came to mind. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you rework something for the front where it's a SB or a S or something.
Right.
That way it's like it's not the primary focus. And that it's cool enough that it's different enough from the original that you get it, but then it's completely different.
Right. Yep. I get you.
Yeah. But a breezy S, a breezy S with a little bit of thing, that'd be pretty cool. So yeah, great idea for you, Gemini and Aurelian.
Yep.
But art wise, it's cool. But yeah, like we said, man, we know,
like you said, where it suffers is that we know what the other one looks like, and we like it a lot better.
Yeah, exactly. All right, number 5, the Lynx King by Chad CBS. Good to see Chad kind of submitting semi regularly too. So
yeah.
What do you think of this one?
One of the first things that usually draws me to a Clink hat is the color. The colors always grab me first. This kind of colorway is something that I always look for. Yeah. But the logo, it doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't seem fully formed, and I'm sure that's just the design style, that just isn't working for me. But it just, this is one of those hats where I have one of my friends, Chad, Total Package. One of the things that he mentioned one time that just kind of stuck in my head, he's like, if I look at a logo and if I see it across the room and I can't figure out what it is, then it's probably going to not look that much better when I get close, so, and that's what when I think of that's exactly what I think of when I look at this logo. I'm like, if I see this across the room, I'm not going to know what it is. And if I get closer, I'm still not going to know what it is, So that's my thing on it. This definitely wouldn't be my style. I think from an artistic perspective, I think it's cool. I think it'll look neat embroidered, but I still don't know what it'll, to me, in my brain's not going to register it as a fully formed.
I'm with you though. Right off the jump, colorway is excellent. Like we don't have enough olive and navy. It's got it kind of has that like that kind of flat silver grayish kind of thing. The issue for me with this logo is like Lynx King. It doesn't really mean anything to me. Like, Lynx isn't really the king of anything to me. Like it's kind of a mid animal. I see this logo though, and aesthetically it doesn't look super appealing, but I worry that like when it comes out, it might be one of these kind of like sleeper logos where it's like it may not look so good. But then when Casey gets his hands on it, it could be crazy if like the front like circular part is like raised and the other stuff is flat, and I don't know, they could work their magic. So is it a bad logo? No. Is it something we need? Debatable, but you never really get to see Casey play with logos like this, so you never know. So
true.
Off the colorway alone is freaking good, man.
Yeah, I love that colorway.
Yeah, but I'm with you. Like it's hard to. It's kind of hard to read. Lynx King doesn't really make much sense. I don't know. But Chad,
you're right. About this could be something that Casey might be able to do some voodoo magic with, and make it look pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. So good to see you around, Chad. Hope you're submitting more often. This one's cool. Dead Inside, Josh and Pretty
That's good
posters.
One.
Yeah. Dead Inside.
Yeah. This is a good one. Yeah, this again, it's a great character design. It's a lot of fun. I I get it immediately. I mean,
Mhm.
it's it's a pun that's evident. And I do like that. Um, the the tonal colorway, I feel like it's a little drab. I think,
Mhm.
and I get that it should be dark because we're talking about something that's dead, but I just feel like it's kind of holding the logo back a little bit.
Yeah. What do
But
you
I
what,
do like the logo.
what do you feel about like these kind of like outlines, these tonal outlines? Like, do you think it works well here, or would you rather that just be a pop color?
We give it
So
like the outline itself for the around the logo.
yeah, so he's got an outline
Mhm. Yeah,
around the logo
right,
that looks gray
right,
on gray.
right. Um, Maybe that in itself is what's kind of holding the logo back.
Yeah.
What, like I said, I feel like it kind of lacks a little bit of pop. So maybe it's not the crown, maybe it's not the tonal crown and visor. Maybe it's the tonal outline. You know
Yeah. I don't
that
know
that's
what
not letting it really just jump out at you. You know.
yeah. I don't know what it would look like with that kind of green he used as an outline. It
Mhm.
wouldn't make much sense though. Like it would kind of
No.
take it from that monochrome kind of design, and he's got the green
Right.
as the pop color. That's real cool, but I don't know what color I
Maybe.
would use because white. There's so much white in it already.
What about the gray that that kind of connects to that could kind of connect to the undervisor? Is
Like a
that too
light
light?
gray.
Is that too light?
The
I
problem
mean,
is it's like
is
really
it going to
close.
match up? Is it too close to the bones?
It's too close to the bones, I think.
Okay, right.
Like you could go crazy like an orange or a red, but like that doesn't really make any sense, you know.
Exactly. Right.
So I think that yeah, I'm with you. It's like it it's cool. The pun is right on. The art's good.
Hmm.
The
Yeah.
character's funny.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I would probably
Definitely.
tilt it a little bit and maybe make the back leg a little bit more darker, or just kind of
Okay.
that way you can get like that real running kind of
Oh,
motion.
sure. Yeah. Okay. I gotcha. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun. It's
Yeah.
cool.
Right.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
got to
But
tilt
but like I
the
said, it's missing something. It's missing a little something. You know.
yeah, tilt the
That's
shovel just a
right.
couple degrees,
Uh-huh.
but
Yes, make it a little bit flatter, right?
yeah.
Is that what you
I
mean?
mean, just like yeah. So instead of him holding it like that, it's more, or
I
sorry,
gotcha. Right.
yeah, just like a little bit.
Uh,
But yeah, I like it. Nothing
mhm.
wrong with it. But
No,
we're here.
nothing. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, it needs a tweak, it needs a tweak to help that logo, really
Mhm.
pop, you know.
Yeah. 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 I don't know what it would be though. I'm with you
No.
though. This is it's
Yeah.
like right there,
Because like you
right
said,
there.
any bright color is gonna throw it off because it's not connected, and it wouldn't make sense. But
Yeah.
it's right there, like you said, for sure.
Maybe maybe make the coffin color like a crazy color so it's different from the dirt. That will make the color kind of
Yeah,
brought out maybe
sure.
like a burgundy or something,
Right.
or yeah, I don't know.
Right,
But
or
it
maybe just a lighter color wood, like a pine box kind of color,
yeah,
maybe
yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
yeah. That way you're just kind of getting away from that
Hmm.
monochromatic
Hmm.
thing, or just it's just too earthy.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's
Yep.
right there. Good job,
Yep.
Josh. Did pretty good.
Definitely.
Ooh, DJ confrontation. Adam and Aurelian got together. The song they picked for this too, I think he used Cascade or Cascade. Um,
Okay.
in 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 um in the post, I was like, yeah, they picked a good song.
Oh, okay. I have to go and take a look for that to
Yeah,
listen to
yeah. He
it.
used, I think it was like Cascade with Skrillex or something. I gotta find it while you talk about this because
Gotcha.
you actually have a background in house music.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, talk about what are your initial thoughts when you see something like this?
So when I see something like this, and I don't mean this as any, I don't mean this at any offense or anything like this, but when I see something like this, I immediately compare it to the
Actual
boogeyman.
hardware?
Yeah,
Oh,
well, that
okay,
too, that the
okay,
actual
okay.
hardware too.
Yeah.
I'm definitely thinking about the what the equipment looks like, without a doubt. They
Mhm.
pulled that off pretty well, but I'm all on any kind of a DJ theme that is a figure. I'm always immediately comparing to the Boogeymen because that's the Boogeyman 1 and 2, And that's kind of what this reminds me of, is like a Boogeyman 2 with a Kong instead, you know.
Mm.
I think that they've got it, that Adam had a good concept with this. And I just, you know, again, it doesn't, you know, it's one of those things that doesn't give me a vibe of I want to know more about it, because it just, you know, I don't know if it's the colors or the Kong, because I think the Kong representation is better most times in a head than a body. I think it really does, you know, come across better that way. But but this one, you know, maybe it's the colors that put me off, because the undervisor and the sweatshirt, you know, that's definitely, you know, not for me, you know, because sometimes bright colors like that just make me feel like an old man, you know, like I can't pull stuff like that off, you know. So
Yeah.
if it's not going to be wearable for me, it's not, you know, it's not something I'm spending too much time with. I do like the lighting, you know. I think that the stage lighting in the back, the way it's shining on him, and the way they did that with the sweatshirt, I think that looks really cool. And you know, and the equipment itself, you know, immediately I'm thinking, okay, it's not turntable, so it must be the new controllers that, you know, are all digital and everything. So I get that they used up to date equipment, you know, but because of my background, I'm old school, you know. I'm
You
looking for
lost respect.
turntables. I'm looking,
respect, bro.
yeah, absolutely. I'm looking for turntables.
Yeah. Rate the technique though. So you wouldn't be like that. Wow. Because that's
Well,
the left
what?
hand. He'd be
So you could, so with the one hand that's on the on the turntable, that makes sense. But I don't know what his other hand's doing, because there's nothing over there that he'd be doing with his hand like that. You know, in a real setup, he's going to be in the middle, you know, to be using using the controllers for the sounds, for the bass, for the mid, you know, for the treble. It's not going to be on that opposite side. So I don't know what he's doing on the other side there.
Fair. So I would normally never break down this like we are, but you know, we have you here, so I'm going to use this chance to so normally that piece would be the middle part, right? And then they would that circle part would have to be a little bit over. That's what I was thinking too originally, but it's still rad, you know. Like, you know, reminds me of thing. And for like DJ wise, I would you know, I would do the one ear, you know, maybe the headphone on the one ear for sure.
Yeah, but you know, but maybe that's the other side that we don't see, you know.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
But I get it. Yeah, but I get it.
Yeah. He's almost more chimp than gorilla.
Yeah,
now that I look
a little
at
bit
it.
more. Yeah.
But it's just it feels cool.
It's a fun idea, but you know, I don't love the execution, and the colors, you know, definitely don't, you know, get for me. But I understand what they were going for in the whole idea of a rave, you know, setting, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So I gotta see what song they use now, man. Now it's bothering me because it pulled it off the thing. Maybe they had to take it off, but I'm pretty sure it was Cascade with Skrillex. So we'll have to find out later. But all right. 8. Rick Clifton coming back with From the Shadows. So little shadow puppet.
Little shadow puppets. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
what do you think?
I get the idea, but I don't think the execution works, because the hands are over the shadow. I'm not getting, there's not enough separation to me between the hands and the shadow to really give me, you know, a good feeling on that.
Yeah.
You know,
it's
I
tough.
mean, I get it. I get it, but I just, what am I thinking here? I'm thinking, why, you know,
why do we need it?
Why do I need it? Yeah. Seriously. You know,
it's a cool concept. No one's ever done it.
Yep.
You know,
yeah, absolutely.
I feel like the proportion may be a little off, but like, I don't know. Vulgar part of me is like, why are we even doing this? Like, I don't know. It's cool. And, like, no one's ever done it.
Right.
It's cool, but you know, maybe I would.
And I think the idea of the shadow behind a figure is a cool idea, because we've seen that recently, you know, appear shipping is the death beetle, you know, where the beetle has the big shadow off to the side. That's one of the reasons that I bought that, was because I wanted to see how that shadow was going to turn out. But here, like I said, there's not enough separation between what's making the shadow and the shadow itself for me to understand easily that that's what I'm supposed to see.
Yeah, my dirty mind just sees like a vulgar like hand gesture almost, but I like Rick, man. Like normally, I think the shadow's better than the hands. That's part of the problem.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's right there.
It's an interesting idea. Like you said, it's different. It's something we've never seen before, but I don't see that doing super well. In voting, just because I think some people are gonna have the same thoughts. Like what am I looking at and why?
Yeah, exactly. All right. Internal Zen. So Seamus and Gemini triplets. So the original one, I think it was like a figure 8.
Yeah, like the
they've
infinity.
come back.
Yeah, I think it's the infinity symbol.
Right. Infinity symbol.
Right.
And then now they're coming back. It didn't make it through. I thought that was really cool.
I thought the original was great. I loved that one. I was really disappointed when it didn't make it through.
Yeah.
And I was hoping it's just going to be held, as a Q design, and that we'd see it later. This one's cool, but I just, again, it's kind of similar to the Sakura Nami, and the Breeze one. We know what the original looked like, and that's better, and that's what we want to see. So I get that they're, reworking it to see if they can garner a little more interest, in it this time around, with the same concept. But I just, it's not as exciting to me as the original one, because the original one spoke to me as Zen Garden, it really did.
Yeah, and then like this one almost feels like you're just like trying to give people what they want, and it takes away from the original essence. Like the original one, like with those like Zen Garden things, like you could see how that thing was drawn.
Yes.
Right. And it was like kind of accurate, which made it kind of cool.
Yep. Exactly.
But I see that it might not have had mass appeal, but like now it's like, all right, now we're doing something that you wouldn't do in the Zen Garden. So like, I feel like you're kind of getting away from
from the idea, from the whole idea of the Zen Garden. Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
So
I like the colors, I like the colors on this a lot. I definitely could see that working, but the original design was so much better. Really, I really liked it a lot more, made more sense to me. It really spoke to what the concept was of the Zen Garden.
And you could see like all the tricks and little things he does. But I'm with you. Like the original concept is bring that one back, Casey.
and it fits the name better. Eternal Zen fits better with the infinity symbol that they did. I mean that made more sense. In that way. And I wish Casey would bring back the other one and just put it through, because I think that one was definitely
that thing was flawless, man. Because it looked like an actual thing drawn or like placed on a hat.
Yes, right.
And I would have loved to see how he would have embroidered that.
Yes. Yeah, I think that would have been a top-notch design.
Yeah. All right. Number 10, the Tiger Squad, Ink Park. You brought him up multiple times.
Yep.
And he is here with one of his patented Warhawk kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. I like this. This one gives me that, that logo vibe, that team logo vibe. I could see this being a team hat, with, I really could. And I think that it's fun having that plane with the nose art, and it just, giving it that tough appeal. I think it's really cool. I like it. And of course, I'm drawn right to the colors, and that olive green, is solid. I love that.
Yeah, that super bright orange,
maybe it's rifle green. But,
I can't tell.
I love it.
Rifle and rifle and olive and new.
They're so close.
Yeah,
right. They're so close.
And even that red could be orange. Like it both work.
Yeah, I like this one. I could definitely see myself ordering this one without a doubt. I think this would turn out well. I think the embroidery will look really nice too, because there's nice good chunks of color that will have long embroidery that's going to just, it's going to look good. I think would look really nice.
I think this one is really good. Ink Park is always solid. For me, I think it suffers a little bit from, like, I know he's got stuff like this that probably looks better. That's the only issue.
Yeah, that's true. Right. That's fair.
I think, like, if you're gonna go this route, like, just go full bore, like, make it like have more tiger, or maybe half tiger, or maybe a tiger riding in the thing. I don't know. It's good. There's nothing wrong with it, but like I know his stuff and I know his art is so much better. Like, I don't know if like this one gets through. So that's my issue with it.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine as is. It's good.
Right.
It's good, but like I just know that he's got so much more in him. And I know sometimes like he's probably thinking like, I put so much through, it doesn't get through. So like, maybe I shouldn't or whatever. I just don't give up, John, man. Like,
yeah,
he's one of the most talented artists.
Definitely don't give up. Yeah, I know that he's going to break through with a few designs, that are going to appeal the right way, But like I said, I mean, if this one made it through, I could definitely see myself getting it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, this is good enough to get through.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like, the Ink Park we know, like. You could throw like a tiger on there. He's kind of struggling to hang on. Maybe his hat's flying, maybe. Or maybe he's just riding right in it, and he's part of the tiger squad, or or incorporate more of the tiger within the, like, give it more tiger features or something. Like,
I get you. Because right now, with the way the plane looks, even though we're calling it tiger squad, because of the gray, you could almost talk yourself into that being a shark.
It's more like a tiger shark right now.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Right.
So it's like, it's almost there, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you lean more into the shark part and gave it like a fin or whatever, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Or if you lean more into the tiger part, like, I just don't know what's pushing me to buy. Other, like, aesthetically, it looks great. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
He's an awesome artist, but like, I think it just lacks that like +1 that Casey always talks about from Clink.
Right.
Like, give me that little extra.
Right. I get you.
Yeah, man. That was fun. We just spent 2 hours. People are probably so mad. Like, we show up, we want to learn about clinkers, and all you guys just wasting an hour talking to each other. But hey, deal with it.
Oh my goodness. And I did not expect that we were going to be going for 2 hours, dude. Not at all.
Nah, we're good.
Not at all.
Good. We always tell ourselves whenever we get on camera, hey, we got to talk more. We don't talk for a couple months. Right. And when we do, we don't shut up. So
exactly. Right. We never do.
But no, it's cool, man. I love the time we spend when trading in, and you're a great friend to me, and we've done some work together now, and love to get you involved, and man, it's just good times.
Yeah. No, I appreciate, as I always say, I appreciate this time with you, without a doubt. It's always a lot of fun. I always learn something, and we get to see a lot of cool stuff, and you and I could sit around talking hats and stuff like this for hours. So
for sure,
it's good times, definitely.
But with that being said, we'll let the people off. 2 hours on a Sunday. They're probably really mad at us, but make sure you guys just subscribe, follow Aaron. At all the appropriate, we'll put all your handles
cool
below.
Yeah, that's great.
But until next time, be on
awesome.
The air. Right.
Awesome. Thank you. Right on.
Peace.
Brought to you by VFTV.